Peters Township Planning Commission for November. Ed, roll call.
Mr. Magrino will not be here tonight. Mr. Carter Phillips will not be here tonight. Mr. Mills?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Wiley?
Here.
I was expecting Rochelle, but she's not here, and Mr. Salepis will not be here tonight. But we do have a quorum, and we can conduct business.
Any changes to the minutes of the October 10th, 2019 regular meeting of the Planning Commission? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Reports and correspondence.
None.
Site plan subdivisions filed for review.
We have one new site plan. It's for the Valley Brook Cafe Coffee Shop on Valley Brook Road. This is the site plan. So come to planning in December, hopefully.
Any changes to the agenda?
None.
Any audience comments on items not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none. No old business unless that changed then?
No.
All right, new business. Planning Commission recommendation for the final plan of the Florida re-subdivision on Sienna Trail.
This is for a number of parcels on Sienna Trail Road, all owned by Michael and Mark Florian, 261, 265, and 269 Sienna Trail. They also own the property in the back, 257, which I'll talk about here in a second. The Florians, to the best of my knowledge, they have an intention to sell this property here, and as part of that subdivision plan, they intend to carve off a little bit of space from that property just to give them their house a little bit more of a backyard. And the house as it sits now, this one here, is currently built over a shared lot line between the property that they own. We saw this subdivision plan as an opportunity to get the house fully on its own lot with an access easement for the driveway that goes onto that separate lot. Each of these properties will be maintained in compliance with our zoning ordinances, maintaining their half-acre minimum, minimums, no issues there. The only kind of strange factor is regards to this subdivision plan. The sanitary sewer lateral that services these two lots runs off a private line that also runs through this Florian property here in the back. Currently working with the sanitary authority to try to locate the location of those private laterals, because we're going to need to establish private sanitary easements in case these two properties or this third one ever became under separate ownership, because we have a privately owned lateral running on someone else's property. So it's the only kind of strange situation. We fully intend to have that addressed by the time we go to council.
I'm sorry, I missed this step. Which lot did you say they intend to sell?
This northern lot.
The northern lot.
Yeah. That's all that I know of. And again, that lateral runs from a private to a private property, so we're going to try to establish an easement to take care of that.
Seth, did you guys think about, and maybe it's not possible, but just for the future, on proposed lot 3, either they move the private drive or the lot line so there's not an encroachment on the easement?
I think that might have created issues. I have to look at it in terms of lot frontage and maybe even lot size. Our main concern is getting the house.
And I guess if they ever do sell lot 3, the owner may force them to move their lot line down.
And having these private access for driveways is not uncommon. I mean, we have it all over the place, so that necessarily wasn't an issue for us. But getting the house.
So they're not actively looking to sell lot 3, just
no.
Sort of
Yeah. And we even approached them to consolidate.
Yeah. What do they think about
tax
that?
purposes?
Okay.
Yeah. So they wanted to keep lot 3 separate, so we kind of saw this as a happy medium.
Okay.
Staff is recommending approval of the subdivision plan, subject to the 6 conditions listed in my November 5th staff report.
Any audience comments? Any commissioner comments?
I'll make a motion for planning commission recommendation for the Florian subdivision final plan, subject to the 6 staff comments.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item B, the planning commission recommendation for the final plan of the Peters Township School District Ebert re-subdivision, I think, forgive my pronunciation.
That's good.
Ebert re-subdivision on Center Church Road.
So as part of the high school development, obviously they acquired a portion of this property that had an old house on it that they demolished. I guess as part of that sale and as part of their ongoing construction, they agreed to give a portion of that property to the property to the south. It's a very minor piece of land. It just kind of gives them a little bit of extra width to their property. It's pretty much just shifting of the shared lot line between the two lots. No other new lots are being created, no other modifications. And there is a portion of this lot to the south here that was previously dedicated to the township for right-of-way purposes as we improve that intersection up there. But again, we're just moving the shared lot line between these two lots. Everything's maintaining compliance with all those zoning requirements. Staff is making the recommendation of approval, subject to the 8 conditions listed in my November 5th report, most of which deal with just labeling things and just minor comments that need to be made to the subdivision plan.
Any commissioner comments? Any audience comments?
I'll make a motion for planning commission recommendation for subdivision lot consolidation for Peters Township School District and Ebert final plan, subject to the 8 conditions set forth in the memo.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
New business, item C, planning commission recommendation for the final plan of ACG Homes, subdivision plan number 1 in Shoreline Drive.
This is a simple subdivision. We are dealing with the owner of the property of Parcel B in Hidden Brook. That's ACG Homes, Inc. and the Hidden Brook Homeowners Association. And we have representatives here tonight in the audience. This is a request by them to re-subdivide Parcel B. Parcel B, and this shows it a bit, Parcel B is a large tract of land that sits along Shoreline Drive. The west would be the eastern side of Shoreline Drive. And when the Hidden Brook patio home portion of the development was approved back in early 2000s, it was intended that there would be multiple patio homes built on this Parcel B. When the builder, Heartland Homes, began building those 3 homes that you see right there, soil conditions got really bad. So they decided that they're not going to build any more patio homes on this big 7.6-acre parcel. And those decisions were all made back in the 2000s. What we have now is we have 3 existing patio homes in the Hidden Brook plan on a piece of land not owned by the association. The association has worked with ACG Homes, the current owner of Parcel B, to carve off a 0.89-acre piece of that Parcel B, that original 7.68-acre parcel, and dedicate that 0.89 acres to the HOA so that these 3 homes that are currently part of the Hidden Brook HOA and are paying, the monthly HOA fees, that these 3 parcels will be on a piece of land owned by the HOA. This subdivision just simply carves off that 0.89 acres, deeds it over to the HOA for the purpose of encompassing those 3 homes on a parcel owned by the HOA. In addition, this plan is also helping out the sanitary authority. There's a sewer line easement, and this thing's not working very good, but there's an old sewer line easement that runs between these 2 units over here on the right. You can see the dashed line. That easement was never supposed to be there. There was never a sewer line in there. So that easement's being vacated. And where the sanitary sewer line was actually built, over here on the left side of the parcel, there's a 25-foot sanitary sewer easement being established to encompass that as-built location of that sanitary sewer. So it does two things. It gives the .89 acres to the HOA and establishes and vacates Peters Township sanitary sewer easements. Because this meeting is moving along so fast, can we go back to that aerial? We'll get into a little bit of history here on Parcel B. Parcel B has become a difficult piece of property, not only because of soil conditions, but because the DEP, back in 2009, established a consent order on this Parcel B because of potential earth disturbance causing pollutants into Chartiers Creek. So that's why the developer in Heartland Homes didn't continue to build the rest of the patio homes.
That lot's 108.
Yes. There was, I'm going to say there was another 20-plus patio homes that were supposed to be built here. Because of soil conditions, because of the DEP consent order, they're not going to build there. It's unknown at this time what is ultimately going to happen with this big remaining section of Parcel B. We're not quite sure what's going to happen to it. I think ACG Homes is going to stop paying taxes on it and go to sheriff's. Paul, if you want to.
Sir, can you come up to the mic and just introduce yourself?
So I'm getting a little off track, but I wanted to inform you.
Yeah.
I'm Paul O'Boyle. I'm president of the Homeowners Association for Edinburgh. That the taxes will probably not be paid by ACG or Brian Gillespie, and it will go up for a sheriff's sale. And at that time, then someone would have the opportunity to bid on it, and unlikely that they'd be able to do much with it, but that you never know what people have in mind.
So we might talk to the county and see what we could possibly do. And I don't know if the HOA wants it because of the consent orders.
We don't want it.
Right.
We
So
definitely
I don't
want it.
think anyone's going to want it.
I'd be surprised if they did.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Contaminants.
What's that?
What are the contaminants?
Well, this was an old brownfield. It was an old consolidation coal waste deposit site.
Okay.
So when it first started being developed, there were Phase 1, Phase 2 environmental site assessment reports. There were all kind of DEP mitigation of the contaminants, and they did that pretty much on 90+% of the project, but for some reason this Parcel B became a problem.
And what are the soil conditions? Is there subsurface movement?
Soft. It's just soft. It's not solid. They can't get to solid ground. They really had a heck of a time with those first 3 units building them, and the soil conditions were so bad they didn't want to build people's homes on that soil. So the bottom line, though, this plan cleans up this situation for the HOA. It gets these 3 homes on a parcel of land that the HOA will own and won't be sheriff sold at some point. So staff's recommending approval of this ACG Homes, Inc. subdivision plan number 1, subject to those 5 simple conditions in my report.
So let me ask you a silly question. So this owner arguably has an environmental problem.
Yes.
So his solution is to stiff the government, not pay his taxes, and let somebody else deal with the problem.
Yes, but the owner currently, ACG Homes, Inc., wasn't the original owner and developer of this parcel. How it got into ACG Homes, Inc.'s hands is a mystery to me.
I'm not totally sure either, but I think that McCollum was the original
The
developer.
original builder.
He went bankrupt, and there was some question about whether or not he actually owned that property. At some point in time, PNC Bank was suspected of owning it, and then finally it went to ACG. And so it's hard to say, really. It's very convoluted.
But, the fact that ACG Homes Inc. owns it now is a good thing for the HOA. They have someone to negotiate with.
Sure, no, that makes sense. I'm just concerned about them buying any sense of.
We're going to see what we can do at the county and
Yeah.
and see if we can prevent it from being
Protect,
sheriff sold.
Any, yeah.
But this subdivision cleans up a problem for the HOA.
Okay.
Any other commissioner comments?
I'd like to make a motion, however, that the planning commission approve the recommendation of the final plan of the ACG Homes Incorporated subdivision plan number 1 with 5 conditions so labeled in the letter.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
The new business, moving on to the planning portion. Anything in the planning side?
Not- I have nothing unless you have any questions or anything.
No. All right, hearing no comments.